Good day, everyone. You are here at the G-Code Presents Studio, and we have again with us, always a pleasure to have with us today, Mr. Hector Guzman. He's going to talk with us a little bit about the 4 components of film production. Some people like to say the 4 phases. I like to mention it as the components. And those 4 components involve development, which is the writing aspect, the thoughts, the brainstorming, the ideas, the collection of concepts and how we're going to put it all together into script form. And the next step would be pre-production, which involves casting, location scouting, you name it, whatever you have things to do before you can actually turn on the camera. You got rehearsals, pre-production. Then you have production. And I think that's the one that most people are more familiar with, the production aspect of it, because then you have the cameras on, you have people on set, you have actors in place on set performing, you have a director saying action cut. You know, everybody's familiar with the production aspect of it, at least on the surface of it. Trust me, there's a whole lot more involved in production than the average person probably knows. And then you have post-production. How could I even post-production? Because then you're dealing with editing, and then more editing, and then editing some more, and then some more editing. Cut, color, sound, you name it. You're dealing with editing, actually composing all of the footage together to present the story the way the writer, the director, producer intended for it to be done. In that phase, you have sound designing, you have the music and other things involved in editing, post-production. The credits, when you see the credits go by the screen, titles, things like that, you have the post-production. After that, you got a film in your hand, and then there are other things you have to take care of business on in order for it to be a success, involving marketing, promotion, distribution, so on and so forth. But we're not going to talk about all that today. We're going to talk about these 4 main components of film production, which may relate in a whole lot of ways with the production of any business. So, Mr. Hector, what's up, Heck?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm doing great. What's up to you as well? Yeah, it's been a minute since we last talked. I want to thank anybody who saw the last episodes. We appreciate y'all helping this endeavor. And
right on.
Yeah, the goal of this endeavor has always been y'all help us teach y'all about making films. Y'all make some stuff y'all own, and hey, maybe we work with you, you work with us. It's a thing of that nature. It's helping each other out. Houston's a big industry, so we'd love to make sure everybody's kind of gets like a glimpse of what's going on, you know, because a lot of people think that you got to go to like one of those colleges that has the film school, or you have to, you know, go put yourself in a university, or you have to go to like UCLA or something like that. Well, look, we're from Houston. I haven't even been to California yet, but for the most part, you know, we just want to give you guys a general understanding of what needs to be done and just what has to be done in order for you to just make a project, you know, because a lot of people have like great stories that they have in their mind that they want to tell, but now it's up to us to just more or less break it down to you on just the 4 main components, because yeah, I prefer the term components as well, because everything is like a giant puzzle. Everybody has to contribute a piece. So these are the pieces that are more or less going to make the big picture that we look at once we take a few steps back.
Right on. So talk to us about the first component, which is the development stage.
So the development stage, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have it all directly memorized, but I know the development stage is mainly you're just thinking of the idea, and now you just need to put pen to paper to get it done. What I would say just automatically right off the bat is think about the other components as well. One of my favorite stories that I remember hearing, Kevin Smith wrote, I don't know if you've seen the movie Clerks?
I have. I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you know of it. I haven't seen it. Okay, so Kevin Smith made Clerks, and then, you know, he bet on himself with all that. You know, he took out no money, any of that. bought all the equipment, put damn near everything on the line to make that film. However, he stated that that was not even the first film that he wrote. The first film that he wrote was Dogma, and that one didn't come out till I think about 2001 or probably 99. And that one is the one that has like a big special effects, big stories, things of that nature. But the reason he had decided to start off with Clerks rather than Dogma is because he knew it was within his budget. Literally prior to us recording this episode, I had talked to Marcus about something that I wanted to work on that was within a budget that I could film. So I want to say, if you're writing a story, if you think you got a great story in mind, write it down, give it the structure, think of, the plot, the climax, things of that nature. But make sure you have it written down, and just don't think that once you got it written, you need to go straight to filming it. If you feel like there's a better way to handle it, there's different things that I've seen people do. Bringing them up again, Inwood Park Productions, if I'm not mistaken, they had told me that they got a sci-fi series that they're working on, and I've even been a part of. I'm in an episode called Tales of Jovia. What I was told is that started out as a web comic first, that they had made the web comic, or they had known who made the web comic, and then from there they actually went to doing the adaptation that they're doing now. So if you feel like, hey, maybe I can make this movie, or if you really want to tell the story, just saying, I know this is a film channel, but we're not telling you automatically, hey, every idea needs to be a movie. No, if you have it fleshed out and you think you could get it all the way done, and you're probably going to go into more details than a script even needs necessary, because a script is only dialogue. That's it. A script is the dialogue, and then that's what you're just picking up on, and you can just tell the story from bits and pieces. But if you're putting extra details in the script that don't need to go into the script, maybe you might need to write a novel, So if you want to do filmmaking, I would just suggest the starting for the first phase. Think of the idea, think of the skeleton idea, and then just write it down. There's a bunch of projects that I have in my Google Docs, that are just in baby steps. And sometimes I just go out of my day and it's like, you know what? It's a Tuesday evening, I'll work on this item, or it's a Thursday, I'll add 2 more pages to the script, you know what I mean? So if you're kind of scatterbrained like me, don't worry about being scatterbrained and having multiple ideas, just working them. One thing that my college professor, and I know don't think I was talking shit about college. I love college. All right, I'm a Santa Clara graduate. But one of the things that my English professor told me is, don't ever think that writing for nothing is useless. Sometimes if you just need to write for the sake of writing, just write it and save it, because it might come into something that you might not even expect. And I would just suggest y'all do the same. Write something down. If you got a skeleton idea, write it down. Have fun with it. Just save it. And if you get back to it later, okay. If you don't, it's going to stay in that file regardless, but at least you can have it there in case you ever do want to expand on that.
Right. Never scrap any script, anything that you've written, even if it's just a writing for fun. Never scrapped it. I've talked to people before that just got frustrated with what they wanted to come out on paper, but it didn't happen. Oh, I just threw it away. And my response is always, no, don't ever throw it away. Because first of all, your writing, even though it may not be coming out the way you want it to come out, is preventing writer's block. So the way you come out of writer's block is that you just write for nothing, not for the purpose of anything, except to keep your flow going and get something on paper. And a lot of times you go back and look at what you wrote and you thought it was useless. It has a whole lot of use. And on the other thing I would like to say is just let me say it like this. One common mistake that most writers make when it comes to filmmaking, new filmmakers, is that they write whatever is in their head without thinking about what they're going to do in a production and what they're going to do with that product once it's produced. I've made it. I'm going to give you the title. The title is, you ready? The Hoodlum of the Opera. I had to do Slice of Cake, and I had to do this, that, and the other, Stress Kills, so on and so forth. And the hoodlum, some people will say, man, that's your baby, you babying that project too much. But it is because, and it's almost done, it is because that project was too expensive for me as a newcomer to try and produce. You see? So I kind of learned it from the back end towards the front without someone giving me the advice and saying, write a more simple story. Then that way you get the film production experience, you get some money back, and then you can produce the one that you have on your heart to do. Okay, so like I said, that's almost done, but always think about your locations and your cast size and things like that that you're going to have to deal with before you choose the script that you want to produce or write. While you're writing, you should be thinking about the marketing. How are people going to receive this line? How are they going to perceive that line? Are they going to understand where I'm coming from? Is this enough detail for them to perceive my vision? So on and so forth. And please, by all means, whatever you do, learn how to structure an actual script or screenplay. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that there's a stack of scripts in Hollywood sitting over in the corner over there. Brilliant people have written them, brilliant scripts, brilliant stories. But if you just throw that story together any kind of way, it's going to be over there. It's going to be what they call it. It's going to be tossed. Okay. And it's not going to get to the point where it's greenlit because the producer, and I'm talking about a Hollywood producer, the guy that sits back and writes checks, that type of producer that most people are looking for to get their movie made is not going to take something that is supposed to be a guideline and a direction on paper and hand that to a director and tell him to make that movie because it's never going to get made and he's not going to waste his money. So what does he do? Oh, that's a nice, I think it's a nice story, but since it's not even formatted properly on the first page, there you go. Give it back to the universe. Sorry. So please structure your screenplays properly. It's a whole language. Your story is great, but if a director and a producer can't look at this and then hand it to some cast members and everybody be on the same page on the set, it's not going to get done. So, did you have anything else to say about writing?
No, like I said, by the way, just so that it'd be known, sometimes, hey, man, the writer's block thing, just keep the wheels turning, you know, maybe just write something random. Like I said, there's times where I would literally be bouncing around and just had 4 scripts open at once. And then just like, okay, it's the morning, I want to work on this one. Okay. And I was like, well, I'm stuck on this one, but let me go add to this one. And then I'm just going back and forth and back and forth. And then like one day I had done that. And then lo and behold, I ended up adding like 4 pages to each script, you know? And granted, pages aren't the biggest, but still, if you're trying to do it a pace-by-pace motion, I remember somebody had told me, you know, when you want to do scripts, try to think that 1 page accounts for 1 minute. So think about that. Don't turn in like a 400-page script and try to expect to get an hour and 30-minute movie from it.